All right. All right, it is 6:32. We will call our August council meeting to order. Welcome to those in attendance. We are unfortunately having some Zoom technical difficulties, but we are recording the meeting in Granicus, and it is also on YouTube. So apologize for the Zoom difficulties right now. At this time, we will have the clerk call the roll.
Bry.
Here.
Schley.
Here.
Katarabik. Here. Beeman.
Here.
Sakala.
Here.
Bolt.
Here.
Cummings.
Here.
Vanderkin.
Here.
Reckelberg.
Here.
Sikowitz.
Here.
All members present.
Thank you. At this time, will everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, and if you could remain standing for a prayer by our Council President, Eric Sitkowitz. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us engage in meaningful discussion, allow us to grow closer as a group, and nurture the bonds of community. Amen.
Amen. All right, thank you, Council President Sitkowitz. We are only going to have one presentation this evening. The presentation for the Pacesetter Award, unfortunately, was going to be through Zoom, so we will have that at hopefully the next meeting. So the one presentation we do have, City Clerk will administer the oath of office and badge pinning for our new detective, Jason Dank. So Jason, if you and your family could please come up. Also, any other Manitowoc police officers who are here to support Detective Dank.
Crew to join in. All right, whenever you're ready, please raise your right hand, repeat after me. I, Jason Dank,
I, Jason Dank,
solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin,
and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of detective for the City of Manitowoc
of detective for the City of Manitowoc
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And I just need a signature from you on that copy.
All right, congratulations again, Detective Dank. Like I mentioned, that is our only presentation. So we have move on to item E, public hearings. We have no public hearings this evening, so we'll move to item F, public input. If there's anyone from the public interested in speaking on anything germane to the business of the City of Manitowoc, you're allowed 5 minutes. Just state your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Dawn Erdman, and my address is 1824 Abbey Ridge, Manitowoc. This should be brief, but I'll try to go slower so you can comprehend my words and they don't get misconstrued. I spoke to the council in December of 2022 regarding my concerns about our taxpayer-funded library and the ideologue attitude of the library board when it comes to inappropriate material, or easily put, porn in the adult section, in the youth section. I also spoke last month at the council meeting. I recommend that Alderman Bry and the council take advantage of the technology and go back to the videos of my concern, especially from December of 22. After public input given at this July's meeting, Alderman Bry referenced somebody talking about the library and books and flippantly made a comment about book banning. I want to get the record straight. Never once have I said books should be banned. What I did say was they need to be placed in an age-appropriate section. I don't have a degree in political science, but I do know what inappropriate materials for impressionable minds are. I also know that elected officials are not to be fixtures in a position, and they should not twist words for their own agendas, but are to be public servants and understand what is ethical and moral for the community. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else interested in speaking for public input? Please just state your name and address for the record.
Hello, Shooter Locke from American by Wyndham on 5020 Hecker Road. I'm just here because I have been in a few times working on an application for a Class B beer license to be sold at our property. We have not been able to obtain that yet. We've paid for it. It's all ready to go. The application is there. We've done everything that we're asked to do, and I'm really just here to because we made some good ground last time I was here. I believe there was a motion to do a Class A, which would be something of selling, that would be more or less selling beer at the property in cases and stuff like that, kind of like a gas station. But that's not what we're built for. We applied for the Class B because it suits us for what our property does, to sell beer directly to the guests as they need it. It's just in can form, and then they can enjoy it in the lobby, go back to their room. They can do that safely without driving around. It's a great amenity to give to our guests in the area. It's just to make them happy. Happy guests are a win for the whole city of Manitowoc. So with that being said, I'm just really, here to see if, when that gets up for vote, that would be something you allow me, because really it's something that without it, it hinders our potential as a small business. We're just trying to reach our maximum potential, doing everything we can. That's certainly not going to get us to it, but it's a step along the way. I've got an incredibly well-trained staff that can handle all those sort of things. Any questions you have for me, I can certainly answer that. I do it at another property already where we've obtained it in a different city. So yeah, I would just like to reiterate that's something that our small business needs to succeed to go towards its full potential. And that's all I really have. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anyone else interested in speaking for public input? Going once, twice, 3 times? We will close public input. We'll move on to,
say something quickly, I guess in reference to public comment here. I know we had discussed what Shooter had talked about at Finance Committee. It is on the consent agenda tonight with the motion to, as he mentioned, refer back to the city clerk's office for consideration and to apply the allocated Class B fees towards a Class A license if applicant so desires, minus any publication and internal fees associated with such. And if the applicant chooses not to apply for a Class A license, that those fees not be refunded. I just want to make that known to the Common Council and I guess to the audience and those watching at home too, that it is on the consent agenda. So if it doesn't get taken off there for discussion, it will automatically go through that way without a vote, or essentially one vote.
thank you.
Thank you. Or a stand or anything, but.
Thank you for your comment. Anything? Well, okay, so we were moving on to appointments. I have one appointment this evening, and that's of Rachel Krepline to the, that is, sorry, the Industrial Development Corporation, IDC, that's what I thought. So that's the only appointment I have this evening. I look for a motion to approve.
Move to approve the mayor's appointment.
Motion and a second. Discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Consent agenda. Are there any items to be removed from the consent agenda? Alderman Sitkowitz.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I am going to ask to have the finance document 23-0556 removed from the consent agenda. That's the license that we were just referencing.
Okay.
593.
593. 0593.
Sure, I wrote down something different, but I
23-0593.
I will trust the clerk.
Yep, there you go. Anything else to be removed from the consent agenda? If not, I would look for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So move.
Second.
Motion second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. We'll move to item I on the agenda for those following at home. We'll committee of the whole, and we will start with Council President Eric Sitkowitz.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The clerk has the document.
We have document 690, which is a report of the Special Events Committee for events requiring council approval. Committee returns same, recommending approval.
Council, your pleasure on this report.
Move for the adoption of the committee's report, Mr. Mayor.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Anything else? Council President Sitkowitz.
Just one quick item. I just want to say thank you as a council and as the president to city staff, especially the police department, fire department, public infrastructure department, and the linemen and MPU in general for that storm that we had 2 weeks ago. I've had, outside of a few one-off comments, I've seen nothing but a great reaction from the community on how fast the city was able to get back up and running and streets cleared and dangerous situations resolved. So I just wanted to shout out a big thank you to them. So
Wholeheartedly agree. Thank you for saying that.
that does conclude our business.
All right, thank you. We'll move then to the Finance Committee. Alderman Jim Breyer, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The clerk has the documents.
All right, we have document 593, which is CCL Properties LLC, application for a Class B retail fermented malt beverage license. Committee returns same, recommending to deny the Class B license, refer the application back to the city clerk's office for consideration, and to apply the allocated Class B fees toward a Class A license if applicant so desires, minus any publication and internal fees associated with such, and if the applicant chooses not to apply for a Class A license, that those fees not be refunded.
Council, your pleasure on this report.
Move for the adoption of the committee's report, Mr. Mayor.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion. Alderman Sitkowitz.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to bring attention to this because during public comment, it was stated by the individual that he has done everything that he was asked for the Class B license. I haven't seen any information saying that that's true from the police department, who was, their recommendation was to deny the Class B license. And as a compromise at committee level, we talked about a Class A would be more appropriate for that venue. And they were going to meet with the police department to see about if a B could make sense. But I have not received any information from the police department saying that a Class B would be recommended. That's why the motion, I recommend approving the motion that was put forth this evening.
Thank you, Alderman Sitkowitz. Any other discussion? Seeing none, then all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously.
Document 633 is an employee back pay discussion. Committee returns same, recommending to authorize the Finance Department to pay back appropriately up to $48,272.96.
Council, your pleasure on this report.
Move for the adoption of the committee's report, Mr. Mayor.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously.
Document 667 is a request from Chewy's LLC for a temporary extension of premise for the sale of liquor and/or beer into the closed section of Buffalo Street for an event on September 16th, 2023. Committee returns same, recommending approval.
Council, your pleasure on this report.
Move for the adoption of the committee's report, Mr. Mayor.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously.
Document 668 is a request from Pet Skull Brewing Company LLC for a temporary extension of premise for the sale of liquor and/or beer into the corner of North 11th Street and Buffalo Street Lot and North 11th Street Boulevard. Committee returns same, recommending approval.
Council, your pleasure on this report.
Move for the adoption of the committee's report, Mr. Mayor.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Anything else, Alderman Bry?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just our next Finance Committee meeting will be Tuesday, September 5th, 5:30 p.m. here in the Common Council chambers. Thank you again.
Thank you. We'll move then to the Personnel Committee, and Alderman Bill Schley is chair.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The clerk has the documents.
Document 611 is a resolution to hire seasonal employees related to elected officials, department heads, or supervisory personnel. Committee returns same, recommending to adopt the resolution.
Council, your pleasure on this resolution.
Move to adopt the resolution.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Don't we need a roll call vote for this one?
Oh, usually Sitkowitz is the one that reminds me. Thank you. Yes, we do need a roll call vote. Sorry. We'll have the clerk call the roll.
Bry,
Aye.
Schley,
Aye.
Kaderovic, aye. Beeman,
Aye.
Sikala,
Aye.
Bolt,
Aye.
Cummings,
Aye.
Vanderkin,
Aye.
Reckelberg,
Aye.
Sikowitz.
Aye.
Thank you for that reminder, Alderman Vanderkin. All right, next item.
Item 614 is a resolution to revise and approve transit driver $2,000 bonus through 2024. Committee returns same, recommending to adopt the resolution.
Council pleasure on this resolution.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously.
Document 691 is a resolution for change to municipal court judges' health insurance premium. Committee returns same, recommending to adopt the resolution.
Council pleasure on this resolution.
Move to adopt the resolution.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously.
Document 692 is a resolution for the municipal court judge salary. Committee returns same, recommending to adopt the resolution.
Council pleasure on this resolution.
Move to adopt the resolution.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Anything else, Alderman Schley?
Nothing that I know of, sir, other than the fact that our committee will be meeting once again September 11th at 5:30 p.m. right here in the council chambers. And nice catch, Alder Vanderkin. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move then to the Public Infrastructure Committee and Alderman Steve Sikala as chair.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Clerk has our document.
We have document 676, which is an update on the state municipal financial agreement for Signals and SIP standalone program project for project 3700304045, City of Manitowoc, Washington Street and South 21st Street intersection signal rehab. Committee returns same, recommending approval.
Council pleasure on this report.
Recommend approval, Mr. Mayor.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Anything else? Alderman Sikala.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, our next Public Infrastructure Committee meeting will be on Wednesday, September 6th at 5:30 in this room.
Thank you. We move then to the Public Safety Committee and Alderman Mike Cummings as chair.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The clerk has the documents.
We have document 651, which is discussion and possible action regarding City of Manitowoc Municipal Code, Chapter 31 signs. Committee returns same, recommending to form a sign committee to make recommendations on sign ordinance change and to work with the city attorney.
Council pleasure on this report.
To approve the committee's report, Mr. Mayor.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion. Alderman Cummings, you have the motion, so you can go first.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I put this on the full agenda just to provide the awareness of it. We had local sign making company owner actually come to our committee and let us know that there's a bunch of issues with our existing sign code. I had it on here because I know a lot of you guys have previously served on the Public Safety Committee. So what we came to the conclusion at the end was we would try to form a committee which consisted of having a city council lead, an alderman lead, and then on top of that, having local business owners with that city attorney as well, and then basically go through that line by line and then make recommendations on any changes, just that way we have full council and city staff and public input on it fully to essentially, make sure that the sign code is as good as what it can be at this moment in time. So that's why we had the motion. Now we have it. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Bryan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I guess I'll thank you, Alderman Cummings and the Public Safety Committee for discussing that at your last meeting. Do you have a timeline on when you potentially might have this start being formed? Are you going to talk with Eric or I don't know?
Yeah, as of this moment, I don't have a timeline. We were just going to go and form it and then talk with Eric and then go from there for the establishment of it. I would like to make a recommendation on appointing an alderman to lead that at this meeting, so we can establish it and then maybe have an alderman lead it and then drive it from there so it doesn't get lost.
Okay. Thank you very much.
So thank you for that, Alderman Bryan, because we did have a conversation amongst staff of whether or not this would be an official committee of the council, in which case there would have to be a resolution and it would spell out specifically who would be on the committee and who would appoint the committee, much like the Industrial Development Corporation, where it's mayor appointed, council approved, or if this was just going to start out as an internal kind of staff committee with an alder sitting on it, kind of like our people committee that we have. That's not necessarily an official committee of the council, but an advisory kind of to talk about the issue and maybe bring forward a recommendation. So there's two ways of doing it. Tonight, technically, it would be kind of the internal. If you wanted that more formal, we would need to, at next meeting, draft up a resolution and bring it forward that way.
Yeah, the intent of it was more of the informal, to have, like I said, the alderman oversight per se with the staff, with the public business owners as well, and then bring any recommendations that way as an informal committee.
Yep. And we can do that. Those wouldn't be noticed, just so you're aware too. They wouldn't be noticed. There could not be a quorum of any council member on there as well, type of thing. So,
Yep.
yeah, that we can do that. Just wanted to make sure everyone was aware.
Yep.
Yeah, Alderman Bryan?
And that was actually one of my suggestions at the committee meeting when we were discussing this, but I don't think at this stage there's no need for the quote formal committee. As long as there's representation from the common council, staff, and from the community, this will be perfect to get some things hopefully ironed out and start the process.
Sounds good.
Thank
Sounds
you.
good. Yep. Alderman Sitkowitz.
Thank you. I guess twofold questions is, what were some of the major issues that we noticed that were maybe in conflict in the side ordinances? Because it wasn't that long ago, we just revamped the entire sign ordinance. I want to say it was within the last 4 or 5 years, I believe. So I'm just kind of wondering, what's the rationale behind? I mean, I think it's good to look at and get some of the things ironed out. I'm just kind of wondering what some of the hot point items are that we have to, kind of go through those hoops of a special committee versus just having recommendations come on changing the ordinance.
Yep.
Alderman Cummings?
Yep, thank you. Thank you, Alderman Siglitz. Yeah, what the gentleman that spoke about it, that brought this forward, said that, first off, the sign code by itself is something that isn't necessarily originally unique to Manitowoc. It's something that you could buy off of a place that comes up with sign ordinances, apparently, throughout the state or country. I forgot which one he said. And then he said that we did modify some of it, obviously, to Manitowoc, but the majority of it is the other way. He also did say that it is extremely difficult for sign makers to come up with signs for our downtown area. In fact, he said he actually turns away business from that for the amount of difficulty. And then also he provided other examples that he dealt with personally with other companies in the city of Manitowoc, where he says it's extremely difficult and compared to what is experienced in other municipalities. And so that's where he'd like the opportunity, being the professional sign maker, to go and voice and input what he's seeing elsewhere and try to get us to be more amicable towards business in the sign making.
Okay. I mean, and my other point is there a goal or a time frame that we're looking to get this revamped by? So it'd be implemented in time for 2024, or what are we looking at?
Well, we didn't get to that point yet. I think we just wanted to first see if we, as a council, would be open to establishing a committee to go and look at it, and then provide recommendations from there. And that's why we wanted to have a alder lead on it, so that way that alder could go and drive the recommendations from there.
Okay.
And then go. That's why we wanted to keep in that informal space at this moment in time.
Okay. Well, I guess I would just recommend some expedience in that, because if businesses are looking to put up signs downtown and it seems to be overly burdensome, as you say,
Yep.
we want to get ahead of that before, not drag this out for an extended period of time here. If there's key identifiers, I would hit those first and bring back some changes quickly.
Yep. And then with that, I'd like to make, obviously, the motion to establish the said committee. And then Alderman Vanderkin has been very passionate with it, and I'd like to see him head that as part of the motion.
Yeah. Well, yeah, so if it's going to be an informal, I guess I would stray away from officially appointing an alder, but there's nothing wrong with, I think, Alderman Vanderkin taking the lead on it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
So we'll just have the
completely fine,
committee and then informally appoint.
Because, we're not deciding how many businesses or how many. I think what really the direction we're getting from staff is, let's bring people together who are knowledgeable. Alderman Vanderkin will be the alder representative there. I'll be there to have a conversation of where are their issues and
Yep.
where could we maybe make recommendations to public safety in the future. Yeah, so yeah, it's fine. We can keep it internal and.
Okay.
Anything else? Any further discussion? Seeing none, then all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously.
Document 654 is a request for flashing pedestrian crossing at the intersection of Huron Street and Maritime Drive. Committee returns same to have a budget request for 2024.
Council, your pleasure on this report.
To approve the committee report, Mr. Mayor.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion. Alderman Cummings.
Yep, thank you. This one, there again, I kept off the consent just to go and provide the awareness to it. That has been something that I have personally received a lot of constituents that voice their concern with that area and crossing Huron and Maritime Drive in that intersection. Personally as well, I did find it always difficult to cross that with my family as well. So we do want to make that formal budget request to increase the safety, especially with the amount of stuff that we're having now for events in Manitowoc. Yeah.
Thank you. Alderman Schley.
Just answered my question.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, then all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously.
Document 655 is a request for possible signage and pedestrian crossing near Riverview Park. Committee returns same, recommending to add the crosswalk and signage.
Council, your pleasure on this report.
To approve the committee report.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion. Alderman Cummings.
Yep, once again, this is put on here just to provide the awareness that obviously we take constituents' concerns seriously. We did receive a bunch of concerns about that crossing as well. Actually, the entrance to that park, there is no official crosswalk that goes there. And if you are familiar with that road, it's where it's kind of at an angle and it's hard to see. So this will provide the awareness to allow people to use that park, especially now that we got the brand new equipment there, and I do see people there a lot more with that equipment. So,
thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, then all those in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously.
Document 662 is a sex offender residency board appeal for Adam Crystal. Committee returns same, recommending to approve for 90 days and while in TLP only.
Council, pleasure on this report.
To approve the committee report, Mr. Mayor.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion. Alderman Cummings.
Yep, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I put this one, we have also on the agenda just for the public awareness. This individual did serve their time for the crime they committed. They ended up, they needed a place to stay for 90 days to try to get affairs in order to get their treatment set up and then ultimately live outside of the city. This is only for 90 days to live in that treatment facility or TLP. And then at that point, they were given direction to find residents outside the city. It was either we approve this for 90 days or they become homeless. So the police chief did assure us that there are controls in place while they're here in that facility for 90 days and 90 days only.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously.
Document 682 is an ordinance to amend section 10.390 of the municipal code regulating parking on South 18th Street. Committee returns same, recommending to adopt the ordinance.
Council, your pleasure on this ordinance.
To adopt the ordinance, Mr. Mayor.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Anything else, Alderman Cummings?
Not at this time, Mr. Mayor. Our next meeting is going to be on September 11th at 5:30 p.m. in the council chambers.
Wasn't there another meeting that was just that day?
Yeah,
Okay.
you're going to hear.
7th, not 11th. Okay.
I was gonna
Alderman
say-
Schley? Yeah.
Yeah, not only do I not know when there's a roll call vote called for, I can't read a calendar.
Okay, that's
September 7th for the Personnel Committee at 5:30 here in the chambers.
at least some of us were paying attention too. That's good. All right, thank you. We have one plan commission item.
Document 683 is a resolution authorizing a harbor assistance program grant application. Plan Commission returns same, recommending to adopt the resolution.
Council, your pleasure on this resolution.
Move for the adoption of the resolution, Mr. Mayor.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Any other business for the council? If not, I would look for a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
We are adjourned.